here in today's video is another story of a beautiful failure that cost future successes in our time. And the person we're talking about now is Robert Emmet. Adam, tell us in detail the story of Robert Emmet.
Robert Emmet was born in Dublin in 1778 into a family deeply engaged in the political and intellectual life of the time. His father was a state physician, and Robert was exposed to forward-thinking ideas from an early age, becoming familiar with the writings of Enlightenment philosophers. He entered Trinity College Dublin at a very young age, where he quickly distinguished himself for his eloquence and dedication to the cause of Irish independence. It was here that he joined the United Irishmen, a revolutionary group seeking to break the connection with Britain and establish an independent Irish republic, free from religious discrimination. Following the suppression of the 1798 Rising, Emmet was forced to flee the country for a time. He traveled through Europe, making connections and seeking support for another rebellion, eventually returning to Dublin in the early 1800s to begin planning a new uprising. During the 1803 Rising, Emmet orchestrated preparations for a takeover of Dublin Castle, but the plan unraveled rapidly when a weapons cache accidentally exploded, alerting the authorities and causing the planned surprise attack to fail. After his capture and subsequent trial, Emmet delivered a defiant and emotional speech from the dock, which eloquently expressed his vision for an independent Ireland and his willingness to sacrifice his life for that beautiful cause.
How does Emmet's decision call off the rising once it became clear it was falling, reflecting on his character? And was it an act of cowardice or a display of a moral maturity?
Emmet's decision to call off the rising is widely seen as a display of moral maturity rather than cowardice. He recognized that the planned assault had disintegrated into chaos and that continuing would only lead to more unnecessary bloodshed without achieving the goal of independence. By putting the lives of his followers and the citizens of Dublin ahead of his own revolutionary ambitions, he demonstrated a profound sense of responsibility and a deep care for his people. This act speaks to the depth of his ideals and his commitment to a just cause rather than a failure of nerve.
Right. How did the personal aspect of the story, his relationship with Sarah Curran, impact the tactical decisions he made in his final days?
The personal aspect of the story, particularly his deep love for Sarah Curran, had a significant impact on his actions in his final days. After the rising failed, Emmet successfully fled into the Wicklow Mountains, where he was relatively safe. However, he could not bear the thought of leaving without saying goodbye to Sarah or making arrangements for her safety. Driven by his devotion, he returned to the vicinity of Dublin, which allowed the authorities to track him down and led directly to his capture.
Why do you think history often celebrates failed revolutionaries like Emmet more vividly than successful political reformers?
Failed revolutionaries like Emmet often capture our imagination because their stories remain symbols of pure idealism. Their sacrifices are complete and untainted by the political compromises that often come with governing and achieving success in the real world. This makes their legacy one of romantic tragedy, which resonates deeply with people across generations. Is there a particular aspect of their stories you find most inspiring?
And in what ways did Emmet's speech from the dock serve as a more effective tool for the independence movement than the actual armed rebellion itself?
Emmet's speech from the dock provided a clear and articulate vision for an independent Ireland that the failed rebellion could not establish. His words were printed and widely circulated, turning him into a martyr and inspiring future generations of nationalists to continue the fight for freedom. The moral high ground of his sacrifice proved far more powerful than the military outcome.
How do we define a beautiful cause in the modern day, and what lessons can be drawn from Emmet about the balance between idealism and pragmatism?
In the modern day, a beautiful cause is often defined by a commitment to justice, equality, and the advancement of human rights, causes that inspire people to work toward a better future for all. Emmet's story teaches us that while noble intentions are vital, they must be balanced with pragmatic strategies and a realistic assessment of one's resources and circumstances to avoid leading to tragic failures and unnecessary loss.
Here again is another beautiful story of people who have paved ways for our future successes, but were not very opportune to be appreciated for that beautiful help they have actually done for the future. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you have any additions or questions, please feel free to put them down on the question box, on the question section. And please, let's keep the record alive.